Hello and welcome to this video where we're now going to continue in detailing the actual knife handle. We are going to be doing this small grip section here. We may get into doing the logo too, and then in the final video we'll be looking at making an approach at building this sort of gripped area here along the sides. So there's not much left before we then move on to the actual blade itself. So let's begin. What we want to do is we want to select the handle and we want to go down to the edge mode. And what we want to do is we want to select one edge, choose ring, and then choose connect. And the reason we're doing this is we're going to be adding a bunch of detail here, and we don't want the actual circular part here to be disrupted so much. So once we have that, we want to now select this, and we're going to choose connect and choose twice. And let's see, I think we can do this a few times here too. Maybe four times. No, let's try 6. That might be a better number. Yeah, I think that's going to be a much better number here. Okay, so once we got that, we're going to now jump into the X-ray mode, and we simply just want to start to manipulate this shape here. So I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to bring these down and across. And we just want to build up this whole area here. So as you can see, we need to move around exactly the placements of these vertexes here. And then we will need to sort out this bottom section where they're just sort of flowing off into nowhere. So let's just continue to do this. Let's pull these down, and yeah, we could do something like that. We're going to pull these over. And so you can see straight away that we need to add more geometry here. So I'm going to do this. I'll do that in just a moment. Let's continue to move all these around. So let's go back to edge. Let's choose connect. And let's bring these down to, let's just do 1. And then connect these twice. Make sure everything is set to 0 here. So let's choose 2. Press OK, or the little green checkbox there, and pull these down. Okay, so we have this sort of rough shape here. What we want to do for consistency is to make sure that this flow is nice and right, and it's not too crazy where it's going to cause any sort of discrepancy in its actual silhouette here. So just moving through and moving this. So if we now apply our turbo smooth, you can see what's going on here. So you can see that it's actually turned out fairly well. So normally what you may want to do is to sort of cap these off and deal with these. However, I think this is going to be okay, but we can just sort of try and clean this up for the sake of consistency here. So I'm going to start cutting from different locations here. So this now has a try. We could perhaps cut from here to here, and then from maybe this to this. And what we're actually looking to build up here is just sort of quads. So let's see, perhaps from here to here. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We can go from here to here. So let's just see what we get here. Hopefully we don't get anything too weird. Okay, so Okay, so that's great. So we've got everything set to quads. We've sort of linked everything up there. We've connected everything. Okay. What I'm going to do is just sort of bring up the material editor here and reapply. Make sure that this material is applied to this entire asset here. So let's select this, and we are going to go to assign material. Yes, show is selected, and I'm going to turn the wireframe to black here. Okay, so there's a few things we can do before we start that logo. The first thing we can do is we can select the screw here and set this pivot point to 0. So then when we go across here and set up the symmetry, and we need to change this to Z. So now we've got the screw on both sides. And okay, yeah, so far that's fine. That's just great. So let's go ahead and build this logo, and then in the final video we will go ahead and do these sort of gripped areas. So just considering what I want to do here, I want to build this logo itself, or should I maybe put a custom one? Okay, I think I'll go about doing this actual logo here. So the way I'm going to do this is by using a plane. So I'm going to click and drag out a plane. Now I can see here that there's this smaller text inside here, and I'm just going to totally ignore that. I'm not going to bother figuring out what that detail is and try adding it in here. So I'm going to drag in the plane, and I'm going to make sure that the length and width segments is set to 1, sorry, and we're going to convert this to an editable polygon. Again, I'm going to add some connects, and I'm just going to sort of roughly place these into position here. So let's bring this down, and I'm not going to be too precise with this because I just don't think it needs to be exactly precise. So I'm holding down the left control, selecting the edges here, and then holding down the left shift and dragging them out. So let's do that again. Okay. So now I'm going to deselect this. Oops. I'm going to deselect this center one and pull this out all the way down here, and we're going to pull this in, and we're going to do the same here. And I think what we're going to do is add one connect along this, which is okay. And what I want to do here is to target weld from this vertex to this vertex, this vertex to this vertex, and then from here to here, and this one to this one, and this should create this B shape. So now I'm going to continue doing this to create this G. So I'm going to drag out the top, and I'm going to make a few of these extrusions. So I'm pressing the E key, and that will switch to the rotate key, and then when I press the W, it will move back to the move key, and I'm just switching between these two modes here while I put these into position. So those are just some shortcuts that are going to make things a lot easier. So let's do the same thing along the bottom here. So I'm just going to drag this out. I'm going to sort of move this into position using the E key again, E and W, and then just keep working at this overall shape here. So let's jump back to vertex. And there's some shortcuts there if you want to jump between the different sub-objects modes. So 1 is vertex, 2 is edges, 3 is border, 4 is polygon, and 5 is element. So those can come in extremely useful if you just want to quickly move between different modes here. So what I need to do here is, for consistency's sake, is make sure that that is flat and straight. I'm going to do the same here. So I'm just selecting those 2 vertices and scaling along that axis. Let's pull this up, and one last extrusion right over there. So you can see that what we actually have is this shape filled out. So we're going to select border, and so now you can see we can select the entire edges here. And I'm going to go to perspective, and I'm going to pull these in just like this. Now with the border selected just on the outside, I'm going to scale this up, and we will need to make some fixes in just a moment to better compensate for this shape here. So let's just do as much as we can, just like this, and now we need to go back through and deal with these areas that extruded wrongly. So let's just quickly run through this. Let's see, move this up here, and so on and so forth. So we've got this. We need to deal with the rest of this shape now. So let's just quickly go through this as fast as we can here. So you have to excuse the quietness here. This is just while I'm going through this task that just requires me repeating the same thing over and over. Okay, so this is good. We can bring this in like this, and we can do the same here. So let's scale this in, and I think that's about it for this logo in terms of how we have altered the shape here. We can probably just pull some of these edges out just a little further, just to give it a much better shape. Okay, so once we've done that, I'm going to select this one of these edges, and we're going to choose ring, and I'm going to choose connect, and I'm going to choose 2, and I'm just going to sort of push these to the sort of edges here, close to the edges. So I'm going to do the same thing with the inside. Choose connect, choose OK. And what this should do is sort of retain this straight edge here. Now we will also need to deal with some of these areas that will become really smooth in just a moment. So we'll set this to 2. So you can see the areas that need work. First one is right here. So we need to make a connect and push this pretty close. So to click turn on show end result, you can see that we have now retained that. We also need to retain this section here. So again, same thing. And what we need to do is we need to do this along this way instead. So bring connect, and let's do the same thing here. Bring and connect, and so you see that's retained that section, and we also need to retain some of these other areas. So I'm gonna select here, choose connect. Push these close, same here. Press OK. And here, we can perhaps bring this one down, and now over here push this one up, and so we also need to do that here, and we can probably just get rid of the 2 and just slide this right down to this edge, and there we go. So now we've got this logo and it has been preserved. We are going to be doing the same thing we've been doing in the past here. So I'm going to select this, I'm going to assign it to the assign the material, set this to have the same wireframe. We're going to go unhide all, and let's see, let's select this, push this like that. We can also reset the X forms and reset the pivot point, and do the same thing here. Add a symmetry, send this to, let's see, it's Y, there we go, so it's a Y, and so now we have this logo completed. And the last thing we are now going to deal with in the next video is these grips, and we're going to sort of make a creative deviation in order to get the desired outlook. So until then, I'll see you in the next video.